Welcome back to another Cyber Attack
Hooray!
Sunday. This week, Elmo's X account was hacked, the Swedish PM's AI signing tool co-opted to thank Hitler, and the Louis Vuitton cyber attack impacted operations in UK, Korea, and Turkey. Check out the latest in cyber on Substack for the full rundown and all sources. All right, here we go. Attackers can craft prompts that make Google Gemini for Workspace embed invisible instructions in auto-generated email summaries, pushing recipients to phishing sites without attachments or visible links. Revenue and Customs and Romanian police arrested 13 suspects in 3 counties for large-scale phishing campaigns that targeted UK taxpayers. Researchers disclosed flaws in Kaigen EUICC cards that let attackers manipulate eSIM profile management, putting billions of IoT devices at risk of takeover. India's Central Bureau of Investigation raided a Noida call center, arresting key operators behind transnational tech support scams that defrauded UK and Australian victims of over $390,000. A single intrusion exposed customer data in the UK, South Korea, Turkey, and other countries, prompting notifications from Louis Vuitton's regional businesses. 2 download versions of the popular Gravity Forms plugin were seeded with malicious code in a supply chain attack, giving attackers access to sites that installed them. Since May 2025, the Interlock Group has used the Kongtuk file fix traffic distribution system to deliver a PHP-based remote access Trojan across multiple industries. Researchers found millions of users and significant revenue streams at AI services that generate non-consensual nude images, often relying on infrastructure from US tech firms. Vulnerabilities in Gigabyte UEFI firmware let attackers disable secure boot and execute code in early boot, opening the door to persistent backdoors. A fake extension for the Cursor AI code editor installed rats and info stealers, leading to a confirmed theft of $500,000 in cryptocurrency from a developer. A hacker briefly took over Sesame Street's Elmo account on X, publishing racist and anti-Semitic messages before access was restored. CTM360 identified over 17,000 spoofed CNN, BBC, and CNBC sites, spreading investment fraud across 50 countries. Legacy head-of-train and end-of-train devices can be exploited remotely to trigger emergency brakes, a flaw publicly acknowledged 2 decades after discovery. Researchers bypassed safeguards on the Grok 4 LLM within 48 hours using combined echo chamber and crescendo prompt injection attacks. Exposed Git repositories continue to leak credentials and proprietary code, giving attackers stealth access to corporate systems. An AI-driven campaign site was taken down after pranksters generated images of Sweden's PM holding placards thanking Schmadolf Hitler. Medical coding firm Episource confirmed that a ransomware attack in early 2025 compromised health and personal data of millions of people. The contagious interview threat actors uploaded 67 malicious NPM packages containing a new XOR index loader, amassing over 17,000 downloads. Dragonforce says it breached U.S. retailer Belk in May, stealing 150 GB of data. The company has not verified the claim. Dark web marketplace Abacus Market went offline without warning, leading analysts to conclude the operators staged an exit scam. Researchers found dozens of fresh malware strains derived from the open-source Async Rat project, underscoring the risks of freely shared rat code. A previously unseen Windows backdoor, dubbed Hazy Beacon, is stealing government data in Southeast Asia by tunneling files through rogue AWS Lambda functions. Debt settlement firm Century Support Services revealed hackers accessed personal and financial data during a November 2024 intrusion. The Q2 2025 threat report notes, Cloudflare mitigated more attacks in 6 months than in all of 2024, including 7.3 TBP's hypervolumetric events. Analysis shows the majority of Civitai's images and 50,000 plus AI models are pornographic, contradicting the platform's public positioning. A new Confetti variant hides malicious code in corrupted APK zip structures and heavy obfuscation, enabling large-scale ad fraud. After bans on Civitai, users re-uploaded thousands of deepfake models depicting real individuals to Hugging Face. A phishing campaign embeds obfuscated JavaScript in SVG images to redirect victims' browsers, bypassing conventional security checks. A coalition of pro-Ukraine hackers claims it breached Gaskar Group, deleted server data, and disrupted the Moscow-based drone manufacturer's operations. European law enforcement agencies took down a Romanian group that encrypted network-attached storage systems across Lombardy, restoring victims' access and arresting key suspects. Ex-Army specialist Cameron Wagenius admitted breaching multiple U.S. telecom networks, stealing customer data, and demanding payment to keep it private. Salt Typhoon, aka Chamelgang, accessed a National Guard unit's systems for 9 months in 2024, siphoning configurations and credentials that could enable wider government intrusions. Researchers detailed Massistant, a forensic suite that lets Chinese authorities copy SMS, location, and images from confiscated smartphones during investigations. Google said its autonomous security agent prevented active exploitation of a critical SQLite bug, but withheld technical specifics pending wider patch adoption. Researchers showed attackers can abuse delegated managed service accounts to move laterally across Active Directory forests and retain indefinite privileged access. The Van Helsing gang stole personal and health information from Australian medical device firm CompuMedics, which is notifying 318K affected people. BlackFog's report shows publicly disclosed retail sector ransomware cases jumped by more than half quarter over quarter, with UK companies hardest hit. UK grocery and insurance giant Co-op said April's cyberattack stole its entire member database, including names, addresses, and contact details. A financially motivated actor installs a boot process rootkit and backdoor on obsolete Sonic Wall secure mobile access devices to retain covert access. Europol and national agencies seized core servers and more than 100 systems used by no-name 057-16 hacktivists to launch DDoS attacks on Europe and the US, making several arrests. Dozens of FortiWeb instances were found running attacker-installed web shells, likely planted with public exploits released after Fortinet patched the critical flaw. A new campaign is using SquidLoader to drop Cobalt Strike beacons on Hong Kong finance firms, enabling remote control and follow-on attacks. An unsecured online bucket exposed 1.1 million records from a U.S. adoption agency, including personal details of children, birth parents, and adoptive families. Cloudflare's postmortem says a resolver update triggered a route leak-like failure affecting 1.1.1.1. No evidence of cyber attack or BGP hijack was found. Researchers observed social engineering calls on Teams that trick staff into running a malicious file, installing the Matinbuchis 3.0 loader for follow-on payloads such as ransomware. Police raids across 5 provinces netted over 1,000 people tied to online fraud and other cyber offenses, the largest such sweep in the country to date. 3 state-linked actors ran spear phishing campaigns against chip makers and suppliers, deploying Cobalt Strike and bespoke malware to steal intellectual property. ITRC tallied 1,732 publicly reported U.S. breaches in H1 2025, up 11% year-on-year, and signaling a likely new annual record. The financially motivated group is pivoting between on-prem Active Directory and Azure AD, abusing conditional access policies and OAuth apps to evade detection. New techniques store malicious payloads and chatbot prompt injections inside TXT records, bypassing standard web filtering and content controls. Karen Vardanyan was flown to the U.S. to face charges for allegedly helping launder ransom payments, linked to Ryuk intrusions against hospitals and municipalities. Security researchers warn that threat actors are using AI-based cloaking to serve benign content to scanners while showing victims phishing or malware pages. Attackers abuse the path traversal RCE flaw in unpatched Apache 2.4.49 instances to deploy a cryptocurrency miner named Linuxsys on Linux servers. Chainalysis reports first-half crypto heists hit an all-time high, largely due to a single exchange breach attributed to DPRK-linked actors. Attackers created fake GitHub accounts to host malicious tools and Amadei plugins, then instructed the Amadei botnet to pull these payloads directly from the repos, sidestepping normal email or web filtering controls. A bug in a modified Signal app exposes usernames, passwords, and other sensitive data in clear text, allowing opportunistic attackers to harvest credentials. Hackers compromised Big One and withdrew digital assets valued at roughly $27 million before the exchange detected and contained the intrusion. In U.S. federal court, Google seeks injunctions and damages against 25 China-based operators of the Badbox 2.0 ad fraud botnet and its residential proxy infrastructure. Attackers weaponized NetScaler flaw CVE 2025-5777 nearly 2 weeks before public proof-of-concept code, compromising at least 100 firms and leaving thousands of instances vulnerable even after patching. A class action lawsuit seeking billions from Meta's leadership, including Mark Zuckerberg, has been resolved. Settlement terms remain confidential. Attackers maintained 3-month access to the dermatology group's network, potentially stealing extensive personal and medical data. Comparatek reports healthcare ransomware incidents rose 4% in H1 2025 versus a 50% cross-sector average, while retail saw the sharpest increase in attacks. Researchers found that a veteran mining botnet integrated AI-generated LCRIX ransomware, expanding its monetization beyond cryptocurrency theft. A critical vulnerability in NVIDIA Container Toolkit lets attackers escape containers and seize full control of GPU hosts used for AI workloads. Radiology Associates of Richmond disclosed a hack that compromised protected health and personal information for about 1.4 million patients. I do admit, the Elmo story took me by surprise. What surprised you this week? For the full rundown and all sources, check out the latest in cyber on Substack.